Today we are on lesson 7.9 in our Go Math book. We will be learning about telling time to 5 minutes. The essential question is, how do you tell and show time to 5 minutes? We're on page 369. Sophia goes to music at 10:30. She goes to the playground at 11 o'clock. She eats lunch at 11:30. Show the times Sophia does these things. So we're going to write those times before each clock. Let's write 10:30 here and 11 o'clock here and 11:30 here. So when I look at this first time, I see that I have 30 minutes. So I know that my hour hand can't be right on the 10. It's going to be in between the 10 and the next number, which is 11. So I'm going to go in between. I'm going to start at the dotted line. And if I have 30 minutes, I remember from our lessons that I'm going to point at the 6, because the 6 is 30 minutes. So that's 10:30. Now to make 11 o'clock, I have no minutes here. So that means I can point right at the 11. And the o'clock, 00, tells me that I am starting right up here on the 12. For 11:30, this time I have 30 minutes, so I know I can't point right at the 11 because that hour hand is moving toward the next hour. I'm going to go between the 11 and the 12. Right there. And with 30 minutes, I know that that is pointing down at the 6. Just to be sure I can count, I start here with 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. Math Talk, describe where the minute hand points to show half past the hour. Half past the hour means that you are halfway around the clock. And 2 of our clocks show that. Half of an hour is 30 minutes. 30 minutes and 30 minutes. So in each of those, our minute hand is pointing to the 6, because that means that we have 30 minutes. Turn your paper over. We'll go to the top where it says Model and Draw. What does it mean when the minute hand points to the 7? Count by 5s until you reach the 7. And they've done that for you here on the paper. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That means that we have 35 minutes because that's the minute hand, it's touching the number. Our hour hand is between the 10 and the 11. So we go to the number before, to the 10. So the time is 10:35. Remember, the minute hand moves from one number to the next in 5 minutes. So the directions say, look at the clock hands, write the time. I want you to look at the hour hand first, the short one. This hour hand is between the 3 and the 4. So it's gone past the 3, but it's not on the 4 yet. So we take the number before, 3. We need our 2 dots, our colon, and then it is pointing to the 5. Now I can use this up here as a guide to help me, or I can count. I can see that when it's pointing to the 5, it is 25 minutes. But I can start at the 12, which is 0, and start counting. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So the time is 3:25. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is pointing pretty much right at the 9. Our colon. And the minute hand has only moved from the 12 to the 1. That's 5 minutes. Now we have a special way to write this. There always have to be 2 digits after the colon. So this is a tens digit, this is a ones digit. We have 5 minutes. So in the number 5, there are no tens and there are 5 ones. Now we can say this as 9:05 or 5 minutes past 9. Either way is correct. Number 3, let's go to the hour hand first. We are in between the 11 and the 12, so I go to the number before, the 11, my colon, and my minute hand is pointing to the 8. So we need to count around. Start at the 12, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 11:40. Number 4, this hour hand is in between the 12 and the 1. It's getting pretty close to the 1, but it's not there yet. It's still on 12 hours. And it's pointing to the 10. Now this confuses some boys and girls sometimes. They want to say that this is 10 minutes, but that's not what this means. You have to count by 5s all the way around until you get to that 10 to find out how many minutes that is. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It is 12:50. Number 5, let's look at the hour hand first. It's just a little bit past that 7, going toward that 8, but it's not there yet. So it is 7. And the minute hand is pointing to the 3. If I look up here, when I'm on the 3, I can see that it is 15 minutes. 7:15. And number 6, take a look at this. This one's a little tricky. It looks like it's pointing right at the 6, but it's really not quite there. And when I look at my minute hand, I can see that it is moving up toward that next hour. It's very close. But it's not on 6 hours, it's on 5. It's in between. So it's 5 hours. How many minutes is it when it's pointing to the 11? Well, you can count starting at the 12, which is 0, then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. 5:55. Now what that means is in 5 more minutes it is going to be 6 o'clock. That's why this hour hand is so close there. But it's not quite there. Alright, let's go to our next page. You are on page 371, and the directions say, look at the clock hands, write the time. I put a little note here because I want to remind you to read the shorthand first. That's your hour hand. So look where that hour hand is, and then look at your minute hand. Here on the bottom, it says look at the time, draw the minute hand to show the same time. They have put your hour hand in here for you. It is 7:25, so it needs to be part way between the 7 and the 8 because you have 25 minutes. Now you need to make the minute hand to show 25 minutes. Number 14, 1:50. We have some minutes, so that hour hand has to be in between the 1 and the 2. Now you show me where the minute hand goes to show 50. And this time says 5:05. Here's our hour hand. So where do you put the minute hand to show 5 minutes? We just did that on our other side of our paper. So you can go back and look at that if you need to. Turn your paper over. We're on page 372. It says draw the minute hand to show the time. My hour hand points between 8 and the 9. So this is the hours. My minute hand points to the 5. So you need to make your minute hand point to the 5 and then write the time in the digital clock. Number 17 is a hot problem. How many minutes does it take for the minute hand to travel around the clock from the 12 to the 12? So we have 2 clocks here. We have 4 o'clock and we have 5 o'clock. So how many minutes did it take for that clock to get from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock? If we look at the clock that we have, we're on 4 o'clock. And if it goes all the way around to make 5 o'clock, how many minutes is that? And number 18, what time is shown on this clock? So read your clock, read your hour hand first, and then do your minute hand, find that time over here. And when you have completed all of that, you are done with your assignment.